So my mom was the first person to share Jesus with me. I was in daycare, preschool, and a little girl came up to me and told me I didn't know Jehovah. And I went home to my mom just crying, upset that I was left out of this knowing Jehovah. And she just looked at me and she gave me a little cross and said, "You don't know Jehovah because you belong to Jesus." So she was probably the first person who instilled that faith in me. And from that moment on, I always remember having a faith that didn't necessarily make sense. I didn't fully understand the relationship of it. Of course, I was little, and it took me a very long time to get to the relationship part. But the next person that God used to bring me to my salvation was actually my husband, Roy. He and I met in a time of my life where I believed in Jesus. I was saved in the sense of I had been baptized and done confirmation and all of that. But I was missing the relationship piece. And so the salvation, I said the right words, I did the right things, but it was not a spiritual salvation. So he and I met, and it was never a question. We were going to church very quickly. He and I both realized we were going to be husband and wife, and he took me to church with him. And that's when I learned the difference between baptism and confirmation for religious purposes and true salvation. Through that, he took me to Bible studies, introduced me to other people who became family, who also pushed my understanding of salvation and my understanding of relationship with Jesus and with God, instead of just the checklist of, I believe in Jesus, I'm saved. I have faith, I'm saved. And so in that relationship, the outward expression of being a Christian was there. My salvation became something that showed in my daily life. Instead of people assuming that I wasn't a Christian because of my actions, unless they asked me, "Are you a Christian?" they wouldn't have known. I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing that were very dark, and very much could have led me to a completely different life. If it had not been for my mom to instill that faith in me as a young kid, even though I didn't fully understand it, and share, her version of salvation at that time, I don't think my illogical faith in Jesus would have started. She planted the seed. And then if God hadn't used my future husband to bring me to him, and to bring me to a place that instilled, so many other people in my life that showed me salvation through their struggles, through their faith, and pushed me to really know my salvation. And through that, I actually was truly saved, accepted Jesus, not as a checklist item, but as this is my Savior. This is my path. This is my purpose.